Alrighty, everyone. Welcome back to this week's episode of J3U After Hours, where our goal is to bridge the gap between education and entertainment. We are your hosts, Alex and Chris. Alex, how are you doing today, man?
Been a week, Chris. Been a week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Buying a
That
home.
it has.
Buying a home is not for the faint of heart. Um, Saying that out loud, I don't even know what it means. But basically, I just mean that they dissect your life. Like, what did you buy third grade lunchroom, and like, why'd you purchase this slushie, and what form of payment did you use? It's insane. But
A 20-year audit. Alex, why did you not have a perfect credit score in the fourth grade?
yeah, dude, it's like so vulnerable. Like it's so, whatever. But yeah, crazy. But anyway, back to normal life. Um, Show weekends and stuff going on. We're like deep in the middle of it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I think I'm on once I get through North Americans, I'm on the over the hump for the year, I think.
My hump is staying all fucking you, dude.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
My humps, my humps, my humps.
So I'm on like energy drink number three of today, running off of 3 hours of sleep. Shout out to my dogs and their anxiety. It's incredible when the storms come. Um, yeah, I've got Bree and Daniel this weekend. I've got an OCB the following weekend, and then Daniel again 3 days after that. And I haven't looked further than that as far as what's to come, but I know it's like every weekend for the rest of the year. I've got somebody competing.
Yeah, I think if I look, I still have a lot to do. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's exciting. Like I love contest preps. Like
Hmm.
I think everyone kind of knows I'm not a huge like I know physiques are built in the off season and off seasons are very important, but from like a coaching perspective, I love the prep setting. Like that sub 8 week out is just it's my favorite.
Dude, it's the most fun. And like, I've loved how many of my athletes have wanted to continue their seasons because I'm like, fuck yeah, we're not done yet. Like, we can keep going and keep going. But dude, congrats on your weekend. You want to talk about it?
Dude, thanks, man. It was fun. So yeah, we were down at the Max Fit Pro Am. Um, and I'll speak on the show for a second because a lot of people were asking, like, why was it like people were posting they're there for hours upon end. It was a phenomenal show. Like the venue, dude, we had an Airbnb on the beach. Like you open the back porch, you can walk out to the beach. Like it's in Destin, Florida. Um, so it was awesome. There's this place called the Thick Cookie. This beats the brakes off a crumble cookie. So there's like it was an awesome place to be for a show. Um, the show itself, like again, Whitman was there, production was great, lighting was great, judges were great, but like it was a pro-am and the pros took forever. And
Mm.
it was because there was every division and they were all masters 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. So you do that, and then everyone gets an individual routine. Everyone gets an individual finals routine. Then they have comparisons. Then they have awards. Like prejudging didn't end until like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. And
God,
yeah, then their finals started. It's like the amateurs didn't go on until about like 10:30. Um,
I'd kill myself.
yeah, and, so like obviously the girls did great. It was I had all girls this year at the show, and it was awesome. A lot of wins, second and a third and a fourth, I believe.
Hmm.
Like, lots of trophies coming back from it. Um, but yeah, overall, like it was great. It just I will say this, luckily the overalls weren't close, so like it wasn't that big of like stress on holding the physiques, right? I became
Hmm.
athlete Peyton, we're competing again this weekend and then next weekend as well. So her I was trying some different stuff out. I wanted to just try to bring a little fuller look and do something different. But as like the time went on, like we were supposed to start finals at 5, it's 8. And I'm like, hey, we're gonna start spilling because like, so I gotta
Yeah.
start. I got to start going away from the next plan we had thought out. So that was the only like annoying part was if I had someone like, Tiffany dominated the overall, but like had she been battling with somebody, I would have been really pissed. Or if I
Yeah.
had an open bodybuilder, I would have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
About like 8:30, 9 o'clock, I just told the girls, hey, y'all got some little shot. Like I had them go get some shots like on the way to prejudging because it was 7 p.m. and I knew it was gonna be a long night. It's like 9:30. I was like, hey, y'all just like start taking a shot or two. Like just relax. Like it's gonna be a long bro, we didn't get done till 1 a.m. And like,
Fuck.
and so that was my thing was like, hey, we've been eating, like we're almost at the end of our food for the day. And, I didn't really want them to pump up. So it's so about 10, when prejudging finally, or excuse me, when finals finally started for the amateurs, it was all the guys first. So I had them do like a little like circuit pump session, like just to get things awake and moving. And then we went back and did the normal pump routine. So,
I
but
think
yeah,
going back to last week's episode, it's a prime example of like as a coach, you have to be able to pivot, right?
yeah, yeah. And because they were worried of like, oh, I feel like I'm sagging. This is this. Like, what are we gonna do? And I'm like, well, first of all, everyone else is dealing with this too.
Yeah.
But second of all, like we're okay. We've been tracking what we eat, what we drink. Like we're just rinse and repeating that. But that was my biggest thing was I didn't want to just like have them. I didn't want them to start pump. I feel like we had like one shot to really fill back up before it was just kind of done with. So yeah.
Yeah. I had Nathan compete. He did an OCB show in Utah. Won his classes, got, which I always forget, OCB is the one place where they actually do place your overall, which I think is interesting. So he got second in the overall to a guy who was like 10 years older than him. Um, so all in all, I was like, well, dude, I'll fucking take it because the guy just has more time than you have. But it pushed me to like 21 class wins for the year, which is cool. I just wish I had more fucking overalls to reflect that shit. It's fine. I'm just gonna fucking come back and get them.
Getting close, getting close. That's always the bummer. It's like you win the class, and it's like fuck. And yeah, and most of the time it's like some dog like comes out like there's this bikini girl last week in Florida. She's a fucking unit. Like this fucking unit. And like there was nothing we could do about it. And
Mhm.
so luckily it was one of those, but you have ran into an issue where like it wasn't a unit, and we'll just leave it at that. So,
I've ran into a few of those for sure.
go ahead, scratch.
It's fine. I'm fine. I'm not, but it's cool. Anyways, Texas.
Best way leads us right into that conversation, right?
Yeah. What are
Um,
your thoughts, man?
okay, so I'm going to take my personal opinion out of it and try
Yep.
to figure out what could have been happening in Texas where Regan got beat. Um, First glance, obviously I was not there, so let's just preface that. First glance, it looks like a super heavy versus a heavy, right?
Hmm.
The heavy obviously is a little more conditioned, a little more polished, but the super still covers a lot of boxes of like, size, density, width. Like, it was pretty apparent from what I was seeing. Um,
Hmm.
I think so. Obviously, Patrick Moore won, and I think everyone was happy that Patrick Moore won. Like, dude has overcome a lot.
Yeah.
For those listening, when he first turned pro and like first did a pro show, he was supposed to be the next Phil Heath. Like,
Yeah.
that's what everyone was saying. So, and then this was his like ninth show this year. I think more than anything, what happened in judges, I've heard some things the judges were saying, oh, he wasn't holding his poses hard enough or long enough. I think Regan started to fade. I think what went into Patrick Moore's favor is he's been improving on exactly the feedback the judges have been asking of him to do. So that's bonus points, right? It's not product
Yeah.
criteria, bonus. I think Regan would get into shots and show them the 100%, like boom, popping hard. And then it goes like 95, 90, 85, 80, sometimes 75. And at that point, they're like, whoa, hang on. We just saw 100. Like now you're fading. Now you're losing it. Whereas
Yeah.
if he just showed 85 the whole time, it might have been like, yeah. So I think again, this is me talking out loud, trying to rationalize it. I would imagine it's something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I talked to Luke about it because he was there. He said that Regan faded, was bang on when he first came out for prejudging and then faded pretty hard by the end of it. Came back for finals, held it better, but still started to fade at the latter end of it. It's just like, again, dude, and I'm a fan of Patrick. I'm a fan of Regan. Obviously, I listened to Fuad's podcast with Patrick and like hearing what he's overcome. So I don't have any qualms with him winning. Like I think he's a great dude and he was deserving of it. It's just confusing looking at the last five pro shows of feedback,
Mhm.
right? Because if we're using that logic, which I don't disagree with, like Patrick was bang on, he nailed his poses. Regan had more size. I think Regan has a very pretty physique in its own right. It's not like it was a Patrick versus like I
Lewis,
don't know, like a Hassan, right? Or Mufat. You're right. It's like it's not like it's a freak who's out of shape versus a guy who's prettier who's bang on. Like Regan was still very good, right? It wasn't his best per se. But then we look at his Patrick's placings in prior shows. I'm like, okay, well then he should have been up one or two placings to some of the guys he was losing to, right? And I think that's where it's hard to make sense of it.
yeah, and that's and that it just I don't know if it's starting to set a new standard, but then it's like you're right. Every placing is different, and there's no like consistency with it. And I know Patrick was improved, but like it almost makes you wonder like, okay, well, what do they not like about Regan? Because that's James got him, who's totally different than a Patrick Moore, and
Yeah.
Patrick's got him. So it's like. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, I think they're both incredible, both as people and all that.
Yeah.
That's my concern is like, what does this mean big picture for bodybuilding?
Did Patrick lose to Joe?
I think so.
And that makes less sense.
I think so. Yeah.
Given the context of this, because Regan is structurally way prettier than Joe and was more on than Joe was at that show. So how did Patrick not beat Joe?
Yeah. And that's where it's like, what you just, I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. I would love to. And again, it's all about like, we want to bodybuilding math our way through things like that. And I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting though.
Yeah. You want to dive in some questions?
Let's talk it out.
Thank you to everybody who continues to ask us every week. Advice to first-time competitors.
So I've had a couple first timers this season. And one thing that I find myself telling them, because first timers, there's either two camps. First timers is they're bothered by why they don't look like Mr. or Miss Olympia, or they're just happy to be here. I'm just having a good time, right? Um, I don't know which I would prefer more, right? Because I think execution slips as the people who are just happy to be here. The Mr. and Miss Olympias are just like so like OCD and just like it gives them anxiety and it leads to a worse look. I just remind them, regardless, I remind everybody this, but I'm like, hey, nobody's going to look back and remember if you got beat at the Alabama State show, right? No one's going to look at, oh, you got second at this local show here. Nobody's going to look at that. If your true journey is so on where it's supposed to be, whether it be a pro or top five at nationals or wherever, no one's gonna like your haters will look back on it, sure. But those same haters are gonna look at your wins and be like, well, no one was there, or it was an
Mhm.
ease. So like, fuck those people, but
Fuck them.
there's no pressure in your first show. Just soak it up. I say take as many photos as you can.
Hmm.
Enjoy the moment because it's going to go by so fast and then it's over. And just as lame as it sounds, go have fun. Like
Hmm.
nothing, like I can tell you right now before you step on stage what we need to do to get better. I don't need
Hmm.
the judge's critique. I don't need another body to stand next to us and show us. I just need you to go have fun and enjoy this, look good, execute the way I want you to do, and make sure you want to keep doing this.
Hmm. Yeah, I think so. Your first thing about the paradigm of like obsessive compulsive to I'm just happy to be here. We want to be anywhere in the middle as consistently as we possibly can because I want you to be OCD in a certain capacity about your process, but I don't want you to be OCD about the outcome that you're anticipating because we can't control that. And I want this to be fun, right? Because I find like I had a conversation with an athlete yesterday who's competed, and I'll use one of my competitors from earlier this year who won as examples. Every prep where I've allowed myself to just have fun, my physique has flourished like through and through. When it was like, I'm a firm believer the body goes wherever the mind leads. So if you're having fun, you're remaining as positive as you can, you're going to have a better outcome. One, the process is going to be more enjoyable, but you're going to look at yourself in the correct connotation. I think it's when you start applying pressure that you kill it. And pressure can be a good thing. I think it's a necessary thing to experience. But when it's self-induced, and what I mean by that, and Alex's point of nobody caring, is you have to be very honest with yourself. And I think this is a skill that you have to develop through competing of whether it's predisposed internal expectations that you're projecting as assuming they're external expectations. Meaning you're sitting there going, oh, well, dude, everybody wants me to win. Nobody gives a shit in a good way. And that's fine. Like your friends, your family members, your training partners, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever, they're just proud of you for completing the journey and getting on that stage. They don't care about the outcome. Your coworkers, if you go back and you tell them you got top five, they're going to shit their pants because they think that's crazy. But it's a lot of people I think will mirror that and not understand that it's their own self-induced pressure and they'll project it as that they have all these eyes on them and all these other things. Nobody cares. And let that be like your mantra. Nobody cares. And that's fine. That's great. Because if you don't and you allow that to like consume you, you will self-destruct. Like it's a matter of when, not if you self-destruct. And to your point, dude, it's like with your first show, it's managing your expectations correctly. I think that's where having the right coach to help guide you through that. We talked about on last week's episode with like true novice versus novice. Like my first show, my goal, I wanted to win true novice. I wanted to be first call out to novice, and I didn't want to get dead last in open. Those were the only expectations I set for myself, and I exceeded those. So therefore, I was happy about it. I didn't walk in there going, I'm going to take an overall. I did take an overall, but that wasn't what I walked into it, putting that expectation on myself. My only goal with that prep was to get as peeled as I fucking could.
Yeah.
That was it. Like conditioning kills. I was 30 pounds under my weight cap when I won that show. I just got as lean as I'd ever been, and that's what I was excited about. And I think that goes back to being where your feet are. Like you have to, as an athlete in the sport, you have to be able to look at yourself, find a positive from that check-in, and latch onto that, accept the negative, and figure out with your coach how to overcome the negative.
Yeah. Yeah. And, that's something we'll get is like, a first timer or even not a first timer, but they're not a pro. They'll be, well, I just, I look at the Olympia level of conditioning and I'm just not there. And I'm like, yeah, no one's expecting you to be there.
No.
If you were there, you would be the Olympia. And so that's a lot of like reminding them of like, hey, it's good to look up to C-Bum and Jay Cutler and Nick Walker, but like we're not them, and that's something like you can't just copy and paste what they do, and you're not going to look like them.
Yeah.
I think too, to your point, like I think sometimes, not every time, but I think sometimes it's good for I think it's bad for an athlete to win the whole show, their first show. If they're
Hmm.
if they're like in their 30s, like late 20s, and like, they've been training for a while. But like I think oftentimes, or if it's like a smaller show and they go and they win the whole thing, I did. my first show. I didn't do the open, but I won the novice and whatever it was called. And I thought it was amazing. I beat like one fat guy. So, but like it screwed me long term, and it screws a lot of athletes long term because they think like, oh man, like I just won I just won the overall. And it's like, yeah, but look who was there. But
Yeah.
you can't, as a coach, you can't have that talk with them like that day because you are proud of the overall. And
Hmm.
it's awesome and they should be proud of it, but sometimes they take that and run with it. And long term, what it does to their career is not the best. It's almost like it came too easy for
Yeah. For me, it was like it set the precedent that anything lesser than an overall was a failure because I won my first show and it was a big show, right? It was competitive. Um, but then when I didn't win my next overall, I felt like I lost identity in a sense. Like when I won my first show, it wasn't even like I didn't come out of it arrogant or confident or anything. I came out relieved, but that became like my baseline of like, okay, well, if I won my first show, I need to keep winning shows or this looks really bad for me. And
it.
that's not the reality. It's like, dude, I've won as many shows as I've lost at this point in my career, right? And that's where, in some of these things, as an athlete, you don't learn and understand until after the fact. Like when I lost at junior nationals, a guy came up to me and he said, it's not going to make sense today, but this is the best thing that could ever happen to you. And looking back years later, I can now understand and accept that's the reality. In the moment, I was like, okay, I'm in renal failure. I don't know what the fuck I went out of this, right? But that's what it takes sometimes. Like there's this like we joke about it about like building character, but that's a part of what this is.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. And especially like at, pro qualifiers. Like I've told two different people this year on occasions, I've said, hey, them not turning pro was the best thing that could happen to you both.
Hmm.
Because one, you don't get that right. Like they weren't ready mentally or physically for the next level. And then you just accelerated their journey so much faster. Okay, do two, three shows their first year, and then now they're pro. And then they're like the guppy in the fucking ocean and you
Hmm.
go back. And it's like you got to build them up and let them enjoy that ride and let them progress as an athlete too. And so I told them, I said, look, I know this one sucks, but that's the best thing that could have happened. And
100%.
yeah, so like there's no shame in not turning pro or not winning an overall your first year, your first couple years. Like
Dude,
winning an overall is a big deal.
it is. And like the conversation I had with an athlete yesterday. Nobody has a fucking stopwatch timing when you go pro, when you win a show, when you do any of that. Because I've been told for 7 years now, been asked, when are you going pro? When I deserve it, when I've earned it, right? But nobody's sitting there just timing like, oh my God, it's been 7 years. Chris hasn't gone pro yet. Like it doesn't, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, so fucking be it. I've still done what I got into bodybuilding to do, which is to build a physique that I'm proud of.
Yeah.
That's where I think we lose sight of things too, where people, I'm like, especially for first timers, this is the best you've ever fucking looked. And simultaneously, if you do not quit the sport, it will be the worst you ever look at the same time. And that's a really cool thing. Like, be excited when you get your bicep vein or your ab veins or you get some glute lines. Like, that's cool. Like, fucking, like, let that be the win of the day or of the process. And then you did something that's very vulnerable. You stood on stage nearly naked in front of hundreds of strangers to judge your appearance.
Mhm.
It's fucking nuts. Like, go let that be a win in itself. Like, you have to find more silver lining. But if, again, if you go at this like we talked about last week, you lose an overall and you quit, you never get to see this through until the end. And that's fucking lame to me.
Yeah, you can't quit just because you don't win. Like
Hmm.
the sport goes on, life goes on, people forget. But like, dude, having this conversation, I was thinking back to my true novice debut. I shouldn't have ever been. I wouldn't have put myself on stage the first two shows I did, like ever. I was just terrible. I was young. I was 22, shitty genetics. Like it just is what it is. And yeah, like, but now I look at myself and like you said, like I'm proud of my physique I have. Like I like while I was never like an amazing bodybuilder, like I never was going pro or anything like that. But what I've done with my body to now, dude, like I'm living in a dream compared to that kid that first started. And
Hmm.
like that's something like just don't, like you said, like don't give up. And have fun with it because I'm still here eating prep food and training and loving it. So and I very successful coach. Like there's more avenues in bodybuilding long after your first show. Oh my God, I just had another question that came to my mind that we have to answer today.
Okay.
So go on.
What does a realistic cycle look like?
Yeah, let's pull up like three different dude cycles. You want to do that?
Yeah.
I think everyone's in the camp. Then we won't say their names, but I think everyone's in the camp around here that we don't give athletes drugs. So
We do.
we're just gonna let them know what a typical cycle is like.
Uh, Find Levi's.
And again, just for the sake of them, clients 16 weeks out, got 750 test, 300 EQ, 600 master on, 6 IUs of GH, 40 mics of clean. So that's like starting point of a prep.
I've got 10-week out, open bodybuilder, 900 tests, 750 mast, 600 EQ, 8 GH, and then 60 clean.
Another bodybuilder, 1400 test, 500 EQ, 400 master on, 80 clean, 4 IUs of GH, 15 milligrams a day of Trin A. And he's 7 weeks out.
Oh, I forgot. There's also 15 mgs of Trin A in the last cycle too. Oopsies. Um, Let me pull up one of my classic guys. Um, but then I've got like a first timer on 400 test and 400 EQ because that's what he can afford. And well, if I say it's first enhanced cycle, he's competed before. It's his first cycle he's competed before. That's what he can afford, and that's what he's comfortable doing. Um, let's see. I had classic guy from earlier this year. It was 800 test, 1,000 milligrams split between EQ and mast, 20 milligrams of Trin a day, so 140 weekly, 60 clean, 8 units of growth, and then 50 Winstrol, Anavar, and Proviron daily for the last month.
Then we'll throw one girl in there, bikini athlete in prep, 2 IUs of GH, 80 mics of clean, 25 mics T3, and 20 mgs of animal.
Yeah, I'll do one in prep. Um, 2 milligram or 3 milligrams of testosterone weekly, 12 and a half micrograms of T3. Both those are HRT, like prescribed. 4 units GH, 10 milligrams Anavar. We've done like through this process, three total exposures to it, ranging between 6 and 8 weeks. 60 Clint, 25 Carterine.
Hell yeah. So yeah, that's a little rundown of what a common bodybuilder cycle be. And the reason being, I had a new client ask if he was doing like 500 tests and 300 EQ, and he was like, "Am I doing like a rookie cycle?" And I was like, "No, not at all. But like, it's not advanced, but it's
Yeah.
not first, or fuck, maybe it is your first. I don't know, but like, you can go up, and that was why I wanted to kind of bring it up.
Yeah, I think for males, your first cycle, anywhere from 500 milligrams to 1,000 is a good sweet spot for your first go round, right? Like base of like 500 tests and then 500 milligrams total of other ancillaries, whether it's DHTs or some nandrolones. I think is a safe place to be, right? Like and the thing is, I'm always going to try to favor a less is more approach, but I'm also not going to fucking lose because we didn't push a little bit more,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Okay, I've got a good question.
Yeah.
What would you tell someone who's caught between choosing financial stability and taking a risk to seriously pursue bodybuilding? And I countered that and I was like, well, hang on, because he said, the same person wants to invest in the industry and try to make a career in the industry. So I want to hear your take and I'll give my take on it as well.
You can kind of do all of them at the same time, from my experience. I started coaching 10 plus years ago, did it for free for a long time, didn't charge enough for a long time. I worked full-time jobs in project management predominantly, coached on the weekends, and when I'd get off of work, I still bodybuilded during all of that until I grew coaching to a point where I could step away from a career-based job and just coach exclusively. From my own experience, get your money up. Bodybuilding isn't cheap, and you need to have all of the income that you can to invest into it. But you can do all of them. Like Levi's a great example. He's in prep. He checks all of his boxes. He's a foreman for a commercial HVAC company, so he works 50 hours a week. He also coaches like 15 people on the side.
Yeah.
You can do all of it. You do have to be diligent with your time management. Like that's crucial. Um, but I will say like and I'm not saying this to turn anybody away if they're wanting to go the coaching route. If you've got a job right now that pays well and you have benefits, I would keep that first and just coach part time and use that as like your gear fund, your prep fund, whatever it may be. And if you're coaching, that's what I did. My coaching just grew organically and it got to the point where I had the option to choose to continue to be a project manager or coach. And I took the leap to coach, but there was literally up from 2021 until basically last year, financially, it was stressful.
Yeah, I still worked another job until 2024. I was still working.
Hmm.
Um, just because, like, you just never know. It wasn't because I had to, but it was because, like, I just didn't want to fully step away because I liked this. I liked having the stability of like X amount of money a week. Um, Dude, it's crazy, man. My mailbox got hit the other day, and like my neighbors walked past, and it's like they've never seen a mailbox knocked over before. Dude,
Alex.
it's yeah, crazy. Sorry. But yeah, so and that's what I told the guy. I said, hey man, look, like I want you to know I coached because I wanted to coach. And I did it for $50 starting out. And then
Hmm.
to 100. And I never coached. I never thought I could be a full-time coach. I never thought that wasn't a thing. So I never really had this like set plan to go bodybuild to make money or to have a career. I wanted to bodybuild so I could bodybuild and I would do whatever jobs I could to bodybuild. Uh,
Hmm.
which wasn't smart by any means, as you end up working security and personal training and doing all that stuff. But um, even going back to school, like I was going to be a registered dietitian, and I was like, okay, like that's the end game. Like that's going to be how I get out. And um, but I just don't trust things, right? And so like that. But again, it goes back to you can't you can't just be like I'm going to be a coach and this is going to be my job because you see that in the industry a lot, and those coaches suck. And
Yeah.
that's how like, you get coaches using AI and this, that, and the others because they just want a job. They don't want to coach. And I've coached piss poor. I couldn't afford to go stay at my athletes' shows. I
Hmm.
couldn't afford to go to nationals when my athletes won. I couldn't like I could, but it would have spent a lot of my means of income to go do that because I had 28 clients at the time. So
Hmm.
you have to don't get into body. Always choose money. Always choose a job over bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Always choose school over bodybuilding because bodybuilding will always be there. You can't bodybuild poor. Dude, I wish I would have. Not anymore. There was a long time in my life where I wish I would have just gone to school first and then tried to bodybuild at 24.
Yeah.
But I did whatever I could to just be a bodybuilder. I had to have a job because I was very poor coming up and
Hmm.
I just had to work. And I was a bodybuilder and school was like option D.
Yeah.
And That's not what I want for my athletes. It's not what I want for people listening. Like it's okay to have a job and bodybuild.
I think, dude, it's almost more fun that way in a weird way because I look back to my first prep. I was working as a diamond broker, and it was a very cushy job. It didn't pay an ass load. It paid enough for me to cover my bills and whatnot, but it was an easy job. It was low stress. I was in a jewelry store. I was around people who didn't care about bodybuilding, and so I would just think about training and posing and everything all day long. Right? It was like I had a separation between the two. Whereas now, listen, I love what I do. I've like worked very hard to earn this spot, but like there's not a separation. This is all encompassing, right? So I think there's actually benefits to that. But to your point, like, dude, I coached for free for a long time because I didn't know you could charge money for it. It wasn't until this was to date myself. This was Christian Guzman before he'd even made Alphalete was doing a video talking about how he bought his BMW i8 with coaching. And I remember going, I've told the story before, but I remember going to my dad's office and I was like, this guy does what I do and makes a living off of it. And my dad was like, no, he fucking doesn't. And I was like, watch it. And then he told me, he's like, you're not going to ever be able to do that. And I was like, okay, bet. And now I didn't just hop, skip, and jump at that point. And I was 18 years old. I had my NASM. I was trying to figure it out. I dropped out of community college and then I just got into the career world. And I was like, I'm just going to build up as deep of a resume as I can so that if the day comes that I do coach and for some reason it doesn't work out, I can go back and do something else. Now, since then, I've gotten hand tattoos and job killers, so maybe not, but that was the thought was like, I'm going to build a repertoire on the back end so that if this never happens, I'm still set up in a decent financial position through life.
Yeah, dude, I still think about like, what if doomsday comes and I don't coach in 10 years? Like, what then? It's like I
Yeah.
still think about that stuff. So you don't get don't pass up a good job to try to be a bodybuilder or to try to be a coach. You can do both. And why not? Because if you have time, that's double money. Like
Hmm.
like literally do the job until you can't do the job. Like because you're making more money doing the other job. That's when you need to leave.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I agree. Um, do you like cream of rice hot or cold? We got two cream of rice questions. We'll start with that one.
Hot. Like people eat it cold.
I've done it cold before. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Um, oh, I just got asked a question. When am I going to grow my arms? Never, never. It's incredible. The second question we got, your cream of rice overflows slightly in the microwave. A, do you remake it? B, do you eat whatever's in the bowl and just clean up the rest? C, do you do your best to scoop as much of the overflow back into the bowl and eat it? Prep versus off season.
This happened just a couple weeks ago. I've been so furious. I've take the microwave plate out and I just throw the bowl and the spoon and everything else in the trash. And
Hmm.
if I could have thrown the microwave plate in the trash in that moment, I would have too. But I knew
Hmm.
I was gonna have to get another one. So that it was one of those days. I was so furious because it gets all sticky everywhere. And I was just like, fuck it. Um,
You
normally,
reach in there, you burn your hand on the bowl too, and you're like, mother.
yeah, yeah. So that is what I actually do, or I'm gonna remake it for sure.
I'm gonna remake it in a prep setting. The lunatic in me would just eat what's there because in my head I'm like, okay, it's less carbs. I'll just drop faster.
Yeah, I would definitely remake because like at that point my meals need to be like so good. Like I've been looking forward to that 35 grams of cream of rice or whatever the fuck it is. It's gotta be good.
I'm just like, dude, just take it away from me. I mean, you have every prep anyway, so it's fine. Do you want a lot of people around you on your show day or keep the social circle at minimum?
Hmm. As an athlete, well,
Yeah,
athlete and a coach, the answer is very minimum.
yeah. I prefer minimum. I like my circle of people who I know I don't have to socially, I don't have to be social for the sake of like upholding the relationship in a sense. You know what I mean? Like we can be quiet around each other and nobody's feelings are fucking hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Um, and also too, it's just like I don't like having like, dude, last year we did Greater Valley. We had too many fucking people in that house, bro. Um, in between prejudging and finals.
Wanted to light that house on fire.
Same. I was so that's why I just went upstairs and tried to be by myself. And then people followed me upstairs and I was like, I'm just gonna go sit in the bathroom and act like I'm taking a shit for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, last year we learned how to travel.
Yes.
Too many people in Airbnbs, just not enough. Um, yeah. So I'm very, and so for those listening, like you have your crew, right? Your entourage, and then you have like the ones you talk to outside of the big group chat. You have your own little two chat. That's who you keep with you in your on game day, on show day, maybe in your Airbnb or in your room. You don't want someone with you for 2 or 3 days that like you're friends with, but you're not like, I would die for them.
Yeah.
Like me and Chris can stay together. Me and Austin can stay together. Like us three could stay together. But like I couldn't bring just like, my buddy from high school who wanted to come see me compete. Like that would just,
Yeah. Yeah, it's too much social expectation, right? Because it's like you don't want to be a dick to them, but
yeah,
you're also brain dead. You're trying to focus on the show and everything else, and it's like there's just too much to try to like uphold all at the same time. So I think it's just having loved ones who understand where you're at and they know they don't have to do that. The other thing too is I don't want to be around somebody who needs to fill an empty space with words. Like, dude, sometimes I just want to not talk and
yeah.
like let it just be that. One movement per body part. What are you choosing?
So if it's just like a full body day,
Yeah.
flat dumbbell press.
Mm,
Now I could pick anything. I could pick any machine.
hmm
A flat Atlantis plate loaded press.
Ooh, yeah.
Um, what's it called? Um, there's a chest supported T-bar row from Panada that like you stand. I would like
hmm
that for back. Um, legs, I'm doing Smith machine squats. Arms, I'm doing a dumbbell curl and a crossbody
hmm
extension and a dumbbell lateral raise.
Okay. I'm doing incline dumbbell fly press for back, the Icarian chest supported T-bar row. For delts, I'm doing a lying cable Y raise. Triceps bilateral crossbody extension, so same as yours. Curl, I'm doing an easy bar. Quads, leg press, hamstrings, Cybex seated ham curl.
Oh yeah. Dude, I've been trying to grow my legs here recently, and like I've been hammering seated leg curls on our side backs. It's awesome.
Dude, it's the best one by far.
There's no
Cat,
better hamstring movement than a seated leg curl.
yeah, like a properly set up one, not the hoist bullshit. Calves, who cares? Fucking.
I have no business.
Um, 3 tips for a successful reverse.
Since there's big, we're going to clarify that there is a difference between reversing and rebounding, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Follow, like, have a good coach to follow the plan. Like just follow the plan. I think the biggest thing um, is you're going to have to you're gonna have to realize, like, if you're not doing the whole like I'm about to blow the fuck up and get huge, and you're trying to stay tight, you're gonna have to keep in mind that you were just excited for 100 grams of cooked sweet potato or 100 grams of cooked rice. You can't just go and be like, fuck it, it's honey buns and PB&Js. Like, you have to stay in control of your appetite for at least the next 2 months.
Hmm.
Then that's again, we're putting him two different camps, rebounding, someone's trying to take advantage of anabolic weight and all that, and like driving food and fucking sending it. Great. You're in that camp over there. Someone who's rebounding, or excuse me, who's reversing and having to stay tight, they probably have like a not the best off-season body composition to begin with previously. They're probably newer to the industry or newer to the game. Then yes, like you have to stay super, super tight. Um, and that would be sticking to the fucking plan. Doing your cardio,
Yes.
is going to be number two. And then number three would be, I can't think of a third one. We naming some while I'm thinking of a third one.
Yeah, I think the way that I talk to people about post show is the amount of time you spend in prep. Like show day isn't the end date in the sense of like I would say at minimum the 12 weeks post show, your body's still getting back to normalcy. So we have to treat it with the same level of precision that we did the 12 weeks leading into show, knowing that you're going to get on stage nearly naked. Um, for me, what I do with athletes is when we've already have a plan in place, most of them were already reversing into the show, so we got a head start to keep food noise down. Um, don't hoard bullshit fucking food in your house before stage. Don't have it around. If you need to, delete DoorDash and Uber Eats off of your phone. Again, I've said it a million times. If a drug addict has drugs around, they're going to use them. Food is going to act very similarly post show with a dopamine response. Don't allow it to be around. Um, Wide variety of fruits, vegetables, higher volume foods, whether it's canned pumpkin, it's potatoes, it's oatmeal, it's obviously fruits and vegetables, it's lean proteins. Like use that as the means to keep satiation in a great place. Stay hydrated, do your cardio, train like a fucking dog, and take it day by day. Like you just went through 20 weeks of dieting and you accepted hunger as a normal thing. The next 20 weeks, it can be accepted as a normal thing too. But it's almost like playing a video game, right? And you're unlocking new levels. The more precise you are and the more accurate you are, the faster we can put more food in. And so the easier it feels.
And just being back training, doing your cardio. I've got some girls right now like eating 300 something carbs like a day, lean as fuck. I've got some guys up 20 something pounds, food's high, like they're still tight. It's like you can progress fast. I would say the biggest thing is don't plan a vacation.
Yes.
Best time to vacation is about 3 to 4 weeks after the show. I would
Hmm.
say four.
Yeah.
It keeps you in your mind that you want to stay looking good. It allows you to get back on dieting. And then about 4 weeks later, your body's a little more susceptible to relaxing and not having such a crazy water rebound from all the food going in. And that's also going to be a time where you do need to like maybe take a couple of days off from the gym and just chill the fuck out. If you
Yeah.
try that 1 to 2 weeks post show, you're doomed. Like
You're doomed.
it's not gonna go well.
Yeah. Like, dude, Soraya is post show. She's eating 700 grams of carbs a day and she still looks like she's 10 weeks out. Wade, dude, I've got him up to 265 and he's still really fucking lean and he's eating 7 meals a day. Like, if you just bite down for like 2 to 3 weeks, we can get food very high very fast. But the other thing is, going back to communication, if you fuck up, you have to tell us. Because if you fuck up and you don't tell us and we see a 8 pound jump in weight, we're not going to go ahead and up food because that's too large of a rate of gain. But if you say, hey man, I had a fucking I had a burger and fries and ice cream last night. I'm bloated, water retention. Like, okay, now we at least know that it's not the baseline food driving rate too high. It's that we had some adherence issues and we can mitigate and counteract that much easier than if you're just like, I don't know what happened. It's like, well, I don't know either.
Yeah, and then like, for those who are like in that kind of reverse phase where they're trying to keep it tight, like if you are so hungry that you're going to eat off plan, I'd rather just feed you more clean food.
Just eat another meal.
Yeah,
Eat
I
the
would,
last meal
I
you
would
had
much rather
again.
do that. Yeah. So that's the thing is like you're not in prison anymore, but like we still gotta, like we still gotta do the damn thing. But I would
Yeah.
much rather fix your hunger than you just like ball out.
Yeah, it's lesser of evils. Like I would rather you have another beef and sweet potato meal than go to, Buffalo Wild Wings get 40 wings. Like
Yeah.
now we're really making an impact calorically that's going to actually cause an issue. Um, we got that was the last question, but I just had like three hop in with questions. You want to rapid fire these?
Yeah, that's real.
Fastest you've seen somebody grow into their physique coming from minimum muscle.
Tyler Neely was like a year and a half.
Yeah. Levi was 2 years, put on like 40 pounds of tissue.
Yeah, Neely doesn't make sense.
Neely does not make sense at all, dude. Um, if you guys saw his protocols, you would think we were lying, but he really does not take a lot, which hurts my feelings. Um, do you think it's possible to go pro your first show? So in the NPC, that's impossible. In OCB, sure, or other natural federations, but it just means you want an overall. That's
Yeah,
it.
you can in your first year competing, you can go pro. The probability is not like the highest, but it's not unheard of.
Yeah, it's like why? Anyways, um, what are some things that help you keep the food noise quiet? Yep.
It's fucking how do you just it's just how bad do you want it? Like I don't like that's the thing is like you're gonna let food take over you. Like
Hmm.
you're gonna bow down and be a bitch to some food. That's what pulls you out of this. That's how I think. So like you just suck it the fuck up. You know, there's starving kids all over the world. You're eating
Yeah,
6 clean meals a day.
we're choosing this, right? And like this is coming from somebody who's had a wide array of eating disorders. So I'm not trying to like invalidate shit in that realm, but like it's food.
Yeah.
That's it. Like it's fucking food.
And that's perfect because we like I coach people with eating disorders previously. You probably do too.
I do.
That's not my answer to them. So we can
That's different.
That's very different. But
Yeah.
like you're a dog and you're competing, you're prepping. I don't give a shit if you're hungry.
Yeah. It makes no difference to me.
Good.
Dude, at a certain point, it's like I don't know how to explain other than, dude, I love dieting. I love being hungry. I don't care. Like it doesn't impact my training. So I don't give a shit. I don't
Yeah.
care how hungry I get. One, it's like you're probably not drinking enough water, as most people don't. Hydrate, get a diet soda and keep your mind occupied and just keep it fucking pushing. But at the end of the day, we are signing up for this shit. It's not because we are somebody who is homeless or in a third world country who doesn't have the choice, then they just accept it.
Yeah, I'm more concerned if you were to tell me you have no appetite during a
Yeah,
prep than if you're hungry. Like that's more concerning.
100%. Yeah, it's and again, it's like if you don't like being hungry, then don't prep because we can't avoid that. I like given the level of conditioning that we bring our athletes to, it is an unavoidable part of this process. You will be hungry, you will be tired, but at the end of the day, you will look the part on stage versus the cookie cutter coach who just tells you how great you are and how much food you got to eat and you look like shit. So,
And
sorry.
and that's what makes conditioning so awesome. That's what makes everyone, whether you win or lose, if you're in shape, that's what makes everyone tilt their cap to you, fist bump you, give you a hug, give you your props, win or lose, because we know what that feels like and we know what it takes to get like that. I swear to God, you can go lose. If you're in shape, no one can knock it. And it's because real ones know what's up. And that's why. It's because it's not fucking easy.
Yeah, dude, like, bro, I've seen it backstage so many times. Like, I've gone up to guys and been like, hey, bro, good fucking work. Not even, and they might not even win, but like, if they're peeled out of their minds or a girl you see it's peeled out of your mind, you're like, dude, fuck yeah. But okay, let's separate. For any of the girls out there, whatever, do you think Laura Lee's never been hungry in her life? Do you
Mm.
think, for the guys, do you think fucking C-Bum or Phil Heath or Ronnie Coleman or any of these greats were hungry? Yes. Like Kevin Levrone talks about how he slept on a hardwood floor on purpose just to suffer, right? Like this is a sport where like suffering is embraced and celebrated because when you go out and you see like, dude, think about like Dorian Yates' death face. You see that and you're like, motherfucker. Like you know he put it on the entire time.
It's something you just have to choose every day. Like you have to choose to embrace it. Like it's not getting, you're not gonna get hungrier. Hunger's here, you're hungry. Okay, well, is that the worst that's gonna happen? Yeah. You're just gonna stay hungry and you're gonna stay tired. But like that's the biggest thing with people prepping and like their first couple shows is they're so worried about the hunger. When it's like, hey dude, like just accept it. Like, oh, hunger's here. Okay, it's here. How long can you hold on for? Like
Hmm.
it just is what it is. Like it's not, that's the thing is it's not gonna get any worse. And so like cut the anxiety of like, oh my God, if I'm hungry now, I'm gonna be hungry 4 weeks out. It's like you're already hungry. So like just suck it up.
Just suck it up. And like, as long as it's not impacting performance, that's a whole nother rant I can go on. Our bodies are way more fucking resilient than we will ever give them credit for. I promise all of you, you can perform at a high level in the gym on less food than you can ever fathom if you just make the decision to. Like, my diet last year was hellacious for the last 6 weeks. Last 8 weeks, I didn't have fats in my diet for 13 of the weeks. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care. I didn't go in the gym want like oh, I'm fucking hungry, I'm fucking tired. I went in and just tried to beat my head against a wall, get in and get out and keep it pushing, and my performance never faltered
Yeah.
because I didn't let it.
Yeah, my last prep, I trained every day for the last 10 weeks just because mentally I wanted to do it. And
Hmm.
I didn't want to not be in the gym. And
Hmm.
wasn't the best thing in the world to do, but man, I fucking looked good and I loved every second of it.
Hmm.
I hated a lot of it, but I loved every second of it.
Oh, dude, I was pissed. Every time he pulled away a little bit more food, I was like, "You like fucking asshole." But I didn't. It was again, it's the goal I signed up for. I wanted to get as peeled as I ever could be, and we achieved that. And it sucked, but I chose it and I chose not to give up on it. And that's why I take pride in it. But our jobs are to make this process efficient and to yield the highest outcome from the most minimal changes required, right? But at the end of the day, I don't do this pensively. Alex doesn't either. And it's why our athletes show up the way that they do. And we're not going at this like to make it a suffering contest, but as athletes, when we're saying this, you have to be willing to accept that as a reality of your process if you want to win.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the biggest difference is like we bring athletes in at a level and like it gets rewarded a lot of times. And it's not because, yeah, like we're both good coaches, but I think more than anything is I don't put bullshit on stage. Like I'm not gonna show up with someone out of shape. I'm not putting them up there. And I've had athletes lose, or maybe not to the same person, but like I've seen other people in other classes, and I tell them like, yeah, they won, but if you looked like that and won, I'd be pissed. And that's
Yeah.
just reality. I would rather us lose and look how I want us to look than look kind of fat. And I'm like, yeah, but they're fat. That didn't get the respect in my hat or in my head. That doesn't get the respect. Coming
No, it doesn't.
Jake does.
Yeah, just be peeled. And dude, we've seen it like conditioning kills. I've seen guys have 40, 50 more pounds of tissue as a super lose to a heavy because that heavy's bang fucking on. And that is the one thing we can all control is how peeled you show up to the stage.
Every time. Every time.
Well, buddy, I'll see you in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, dude, I'm excited.
Well, for
All
those listening, if you've made it this far, if you're on YouTube, if you can like, comment, share, and subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. If you want to work with either of us, there's a link in the bio to apply, or you can reach out to us directly on Instagram. That is also where we do our Q&A boxes each week for these episodes. Those are also linked in the description. If you're one of the OGs on Spotify, if you can follow us, comment, share with a friend, we'd really appreciate it. I don't have a good one today because my brain's not working. Sleep's important. Don't follow in my footsteps. And on that note, thank you for listening to J3U After Hours.